Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. I'm back with another episode. This episode, y'all, it's trauma. We all have it. We all have it. We've all been through it, and some of us are still living through it. The question is, how do we overcome? How do we get to the other side? How do we fix the trauma that we've been through from a little girl all the way up until, I'm 40 plus. So, and I still need sessions like almost every day. Woo. But anyway, I have an amazing woman on the call today, and I met her through Kate's. Can we just give a shout out to Kate because I've met some wonderful women through Kate. I just got to give her a shout. I need Kate to come on the show because she's just she's amazing. She's like the connector. I'm calling her the connector. She's connecting me to some powerful women. But today I have Jolyn Armstrong. And y'all, when I tell you, I've went through this 90-day guidebook for trauma. It made me go through some stuff that I thought I was over, but I'm really not over. So thank you for that. I want to say that to you. But y'all, her mission is to empower men and women that are impacted by crisis to live their best life now, regardless of the outside circumstance. So she wants you to be empowered and she wants to make an impact in your day-to-day life on how to overcome so many struggles that we just brush under the rug, or maybe we don't brush under the rug. And I'm just so excited to have her on the show. What's up, Jolyn? How are you feeling today?
Thank you, Tiffany. What a beautiful day to be on your show. I so appreciate the invitation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have my look. I just wanted to show you. Look
Nice.
at, but look at all the.
Oh, that's what you're supposed to do there, Tiffany. That's
Okay, I just want to let y'all know when you guys get your copy, like, look how mine look. Like, I was invested. Y'all, I was invested. So, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's talk about this trauma. Let's talk
Oh,
about this trauma.
yeah.
So, first, I want to say to you, thank you. Second of all, thank you for coming out of your shell because I'm pretty sure there was fear because you're putting yourself out there to the world. So
Yeah.
first, I want to say thank you for that. And what made you create a 90-day guidebook?
Yeah, yeah, great question, and I appreciate that you're out here with me. And it
Mhm.
takes a village. It takes us who have been there to help those who are coming behind us. And for me, I wrote this guidebook because it's what I wish I had when I first went through trauma in my life, the trauma that knocked me to my knees. I searched and searched for a long time to find something that would help pull me through this, that would help me up out of the trenches. And I found some things that worked, that were okay, but it wasn't what I needed. It wasn't, it didn't have everything that I learned through the process. And so I said, okay, I'm compiling what
Mhm.
what helped me and what I know has helped others, and I'm going to put this together so that those coming behind me at least have a guidebook, have something that they can utilize in their
So
in their healing.
when you started this, were you also going to therapy as well?
So I had never been really in therapy before this. It was my husband, my amazing, beautiful husband, who said, Jolyn,
Okay.
come on now. You need some help. You need some help. We need for you to have some help. And so he helped me. That I found a therapist who actually hurt more than she helped. Bless her.
Oh,
She was in over her head with what I was going through.
okay.
And so then we kept searching. He said, "Nope, this isn't right. This isn't the right one. Let's find someone else." And we found another therapist who now I still see her from time to time, honestly, because we all need it. We all
Mhm.
need someone we can turn to, right? And so here I am, nearly a decade later, after meeting her, and still, like, I'll call her, "Hey, Jenny, I need you." So
Right. No, I think that's good, and I think that's
yeah,
healthy. I think that's
yeah,
really so. Let's go back a little bit. You
yeah,
said your husband said, "You need this. We need this." What made him say, "We need this"?
yeah.
Was there something happening? Were you guys arguing? Because sometimes we put men through so much because men don't understand our emotions, and sometimes we're like, "Ugh," And
Yeah.
men don't know that sometimes?
Yeah, if I can I'll just get down to the nitty-gritty, I'll tell
Go ahead.
you
Go
my
ahead,
my
girlfriend.
trauma story from the start, how about that?
Okay,
No
yes.
secrets here between
Yeah.
girlfriends, right? So my husband and I were married, we own a marketing company that allowed for us we purposely built this company so that we could travel wherever we wanted to travel, live where we wanted to live. Our kids were all grown out of the house, and, so we were traveling around, we had spent a winter in California, which is where
Mm.
we were when my world came tumbling down. And I was preparing with some of our top clients. We were doing a 2-day intensive with in Las Vegas, end of Jan or mid January. It was about
Okay.
10 days away. So here I am, early January in California, doing like all of the last minute setup for this intensive, right? Hotel plans, making sure limos were set up for as people came in, their flights were all booked, dinners all set up. And end of that work day, I pick up my phone. Well, Jim is my husband. We were going out to dinner that night or to a movie. I can't remember now. I pick up my phone and there's 4 missed calls and 4
Mm.
voicemails. And I say,
Okay.
that is what started everything. That brought me to my knees when I saw. Now, these phone calls were from a number in Colorado that I didn't recognize. And I thought, my son is in the military, stationed in Colorado, and I will bet he's getting deployed. And these are phone calls telling me, "Mom, I'm out." I'm like, I'm going, right? Which was my biggest fear at the time. Him being deployed, that I mean, as a mother, here's my little baby in his combat boots. And so I thought, "Oh my goodness." And then I saw another text from another son. I have 3 adult sons. So my another son said, "Mom, Dad's trying to get a hold of you." Their dad, who I wasn't married to anymore, is trying to get a hold of you. And I went, "Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, he's getting deployed probably." And so I checked the first voicemail, and it was this automated woman's voice saying, "You have a collect call from an inmate
Oh,
in a
no.
correctional facility in Colorado." And I went, "Oh no, wait a minute." And then I hear my son's voice say his name, right? Second voicemail, same message. Third voicemail, same message. And I went, "This can't be right. Wait a minute. This is my soldier son who's respected, who's whatever. He's not incarcerated.
Right.
What?" And so this is how my world changed. It everything. So I found out. I didn't get to talk to him that day because it was the end of the day. They cut off his phone calls. They said, "You can try tomorrow." But he had gotten a hold of his father, and I found out that my son was facing serious charges, potential um, life sentence. And I was told, so here I am, 10 days away. I've got to be in Las Vegas. Do this intensive with my top clients from all over the US and Canada, right? My husband said, we've got to go to Colorado. We have to find him an attorney. We've got to get him out of jail and back into, can he go back on base? He was living on base. And so we flew to Denver. We flew started interviewing attorneys,
Mhm.
and still I'm trying to put this Vegas thing together, right?
Right, 'cause you still all this have this going on, so what, it's like 9 days do you have to be in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it was
Oh my
something like
god.
9 days out. I can't cancel this intensive with our top client. I can't do it,
Oh,
right?
no, you can't, right.
Can't do it. So I'm like interviewing attorneys, calling, for dinner reservations, limo companies, another attorney. It was horrific. And somehow we got through we got him out of jail. Um, the military's like, "Oh yeah, we'll have him back." Like, absolutely, put him back in the barracks. Um, got him set back up with the military, and then went to Vegas, did the thing. But through all of this, I'm crying every single day. Like this was in January, March, I'm still crying every single day,
What a way
right?
to start the new year off. You said you
Holy moly!
Happy New Year, Jolyn.
I know. It was that yeah, it took me to my knees. I was not prepared. I was trying to prepare for a deployment, not incarceration, right? And I was told, okay, this is, the legal process could take about a year, and then he might be facing a life sentence. And I thought, okay, I've got a year. I've got a year with my son, and then I may never see him outside of prison walls again. So I'm thinking, this is my last Easter. This is my last Mother's Day. This is my last everything with him.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we spent that next year near where he was stationed in Colorado, and just spending as much time as I could with him. And meanwhile, my business is suffering. My relationship
Right.
with my other kids is suffering. My relationship with my husband is suffering,
And
right?
then did you end up losing the clients too for the Vegas deal or?
Vegas went off pretty well.
Okay, so
Honestly,
you were able. Okay, okay.
yeah, my husband and I worked together. He was, like, the talent for all of
Okay,
that anyway.
okay.
I took care of all the backstage deals, right? Like,
Okay, okay.
all the thank goodness. Normally, like, when we would, because we did about 4 of these a year, I would be there with him. I would be, I'd introduce him, I'd take care of all the things. I'm crying too much for the
So
I
you
was just
couldn't
like,
be.
"Nope, I'm gonna make the reservations. I'll handle the hotels from the hotel room with a box of tissues, but I'm not gonna be there," right?
Right.
I made it to the dinner, like, we always ended it with a big kind of a gala, and I went
Okay,
to that, and that went okay, but it took everything I could just to go to that, right? And
okay.
then we actually did one more 3 months after that in Orlando, and but I was making mistakes, and I was not able to focus, and I mean, the business was suffering that, and finally our business coach said, you can't do the intensives anymore, not until you get yourself straight. Like, you can't make these promises and not be able to uphold them." And I'm like, "Dang, I'm a professional, okay?" I know what I'm doing,
You're like,
and
"I know
even
what
knowing
I
what
got
I'm
this."
do yeah. Yeah. So I just said, "Okay, all right." So we had to do away with them, and that was our most profitable, like, part of our business at that time. So my
Oh,
business suffered. My business
yeah.
big time.
So you have the business suffer, your children suffered, and then your husband, who
My
you're currently
marriage.
married now, or your son's father?
Yeah, I was not married to my son's father, had been
Okay.
divorced from him for, like, 20 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So your current
Um,
husband, you guys were going back, so it was going downhill.
yeah,
And then
well, we were struggling, and I'll tell you, my husband is an amazing, amazing man. He is amazing, and he told me, "We're traveling around, we're living our life, we're
mhm.
all over the place," and he said, you need to be near your son. We stayed in Colorado for the whole year, like, that whole year. He said, "Let's go. Let's
Oh.
go so you can be near him. Let's go."
So you were currently where were you living at before Colorado?
When he was arrested, we were in California, but we were there
Okay.
for, like, the winter, and then we would have gone somewhere else for the spring, and then somewhere else for this that's how we did it all over the place.
Oh my god. So and
Yeah,
so your husband was just like, "Honey, let's get you closer, so let's move there for a year."
yeah,
Oh, kudo shout
yeah.
out to him. Come on.
Amazing man. I
Jim,
know, I'm
right?
a lucky
His
woman.
name is Jim, right?
Jim,
Shout
yeah.
out to Jim. Come on, Jim. We need more men like Jim in the world. Jesus.
We do need more gyms in the world for sure, and he's the one that helped me find the therapist who taught me, like, "You can get through this.
Okay.
You can get through this, and here's how," right? And she gave me this framework. She gave me, like, as I'm telling her, like, "This is what's happening," and she said, "Okay, let's try this and this and this. Okay? How's that feel? Okay, this worked, this didn't. All right, now let's try this and this and this." And, like, she's hung with me, and she was nurturing, she was careful, she was gentle, she encouraged he and I. She met with the both of us together sometimes and us separately sometimes, and it was freaking amazing. It was beautiful what she did, and she guided me out of that, right?
Right.
And day by day, I'm like, okay, I slept last night. Oh my gosh, right? I did this exercise, and for the first time, I didn't wake up, like, with nightmares about my son in prison, right? So
Mm.
all of these things, she just patiently helped me through, and it was at my husband's encouragement that I went to her. So I cannot say enough how important it is to have people around you who support
So
you.
and that's where you birth trauma recovery, the
Uh-huh.
90-day guidebook to building a great life after trauma.
Yeah. Those things. That's what I did.
Oh my god. So there's something else that I love is, like, I love how you set the tone in the beginning of the book where
Mm.
you're letting the readers know, you know, about their mind,
Yeah.
taking to embracing and just pause for a moment and the GPS of knowing where you are. I love how you set the tone of that, of knowing where you are because, I have the group with mothers with children incarcerated. We're all at different stages.
Yeah.
And I love how you're saying, like, you as the person who's reading this, who's going through this guidebook, you need to know where you're at, your location, because my location may be different from someone else's. I
Mhm.
love so we talk about the GPS moment of how you have to embrace that?
Yes. Yeah. And know that, if something has happened to you, for me, it was my son's arrest. For other
Mhm,
people, it's different things, right? I talk about a health scare that my husband went through too in the book later on in life.
mhm,
Uh, but knowing that when something happens, a normal, natural reaction is this dysregulation. It's
mhm,
okay. Yeah, here I am. Yeah, I'm on my knees. Of course I am, right?
mhm,
So, or I've been working on this a little bit. I got some tools under my belt. Now I'm feeling a little bit better, but I need some more guidance, right? I need to kind of finish the journey. So, yeah, there are assessments throughout the book saying, "Hey, okay, now go here." Go. It's
mhm.
not a book you read front to back.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, ladies, mothers, it is not a book that you could yeah, she's right. You put some work into
Yeah.
this, and sometimes, some of the exercise she gives, they are tough because you're doing a soul searching, and you
Yeah.
may hit a nerve, or you may hit something that happened long ago that you thought you buried, so it may
Mhm.
resurface where you cry again. But your exercises are amazing, and there was something else you also put was, like, finding calm in the storm. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's the experience that I went through that lasted, well, the entire time he was in prison, and then afterwards he's back home now and doing well. But uh, there are so many things out in the world that we don't have control of.
Mhm,
Sometimes things coming at us that are just like, oh my gosh, I can't stop it. I can't stop this. But finding that eye of the storm, saying, okay, that can be chaos out there. I'm going to find some peace here. That is so important when you're in a situation that is out of control, especially, right? And life is out of control right now,
Oh,
right? For all of
this election, baby, this election,
Holy
oh
moly,
lord.
yes, 2024, the
Woo!
hurricane of 2024, right? So,
Yes, yes.
yes. And who knows that, yeah, who knows what's coming next? And to be able to be okay with ourselves in our little eye of the storm and let all of that chaos happen out there. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Throw whatever you got at me because I've got this little boundary around me. I've got my little cocoon. I'm okay.
What do you say to the mothers who, they're like, "Yeah, Jolene, that's good and all. However, my child is now, getting sentenced to 20 plus years to life. I have anxiety every night because
Yeah.
you're in the storm." Like, what would you tell someone just to be calm in the midst of that?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you do that? I guess I could read a couple of things that I wrote in my journal from that time.
I
Would that
would
be all
love
right with you?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, this journal that I use that I did everything that I could.
I'm a firm believer in having a journal.
100%. And there's something magical that happens, and we could go
Yes,
into
say
the
it, say it.
neurobiology of it, but when you put pen to paper
Mhm.
and you write out your thoughts, you write out what's going on, the feelings that you're having, the struggles that you're having, it's magical.
It really is.
Yeah, yeah. So, getting those things out of your head, out of your brain, out of your heart onto paper allows you to say, "Okay, I'm gonna close that journal for now, and I'm gonna rest." Yeah, yeah. So, um, let me see. Well, one thing that I did was I made a massive action list. I said, I cannot, for me, massive action is when I'm struggling in any way. I use this in business sometimes, but personal too. If I'm struggling and I need help out, I'm going to make a massive action list. Things that I need to do that are going to help me the most right now, right?
Okay.
One of them for me at that time was delete news apps from my iPad and my phone, right? I'm cutting off the negativity that's coming my way
Mhm.
during an election year. That might be a good idea. Um, Facebook and Twitter, I have on that list too of social media, taking that off my phone, Instagram as well. Um,
And you took those off for what reason? So they
I took
know.
them off. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I'm not totally anti social media or news, right?
Mhm,
However, when there's so much negativity out there and you can't stop it, you can't control it,
mhm.
control what's in here, control what's right around you. Don't let the negativity in for the moment. Now, at that time for me, my son was getting death threats on social media.
Okay.
And I went, okay, that's not helping me.
It's yeah, that wasn't
That's not
helping your
helping
mental.
me, and
No.
so I got rid of that. Now, social media is helpful for some people. Now I use it to stay in touch with my kids, right? Like, that's cool. That's fine. But if you're struggling and you're noticing, pain, dysregulation coming from what you're seeing on social media or on the news, it's okay to take a break from it, right?
Okay.
I didn't
Yes.
delete it forever. I'm still
Yeah.
on, like, right?
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I take a breaks too. I take breaks too.
yeah, and we use it a lot, different Facebook groups still, right? That's the only
Mhm.
thing that keeps me on Facebook is those groups.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think personal assessment again, find out where you're at, what's hurting and what's helping, and make adjustments there. But another thing that a couple things that I wanted to read to you that I thought might
Mhm.
be helpful, very top of this page. My suffering doesn't help anyone. It's not
Say it
helping
again. Say it
anyone.
again.
My suffering doesn't help anyone. Yeah. My suffering doesn't change anyone's circumstances, right? I was suffering for the sake of suffering. If he's suffering, I need to suffer, right? He doesn't have the food that he needs because a lot of times those of us in this situation with loved ones incarcerated, we know they don't always get the food they need, right?
Right, because there's some moms who said, I think I saw in the group, she goes, "Well, if he's not eating, I'm not gonna eat." And I had to send her a message. I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. You still need to eat and be healthy."
Yeah. Your suffering doesn't change his suffering.
There you go.
Your suffering does not change. And so, and this holds true with people with health crises as well, right?
Mhm.
You have a loved one who's going through cancer treatment, something like that, suffering with involvement in an abusive relationship, something like that. Your suffering doesn't help them.
Right.
You need to be resourced so that you can be there for them, right?
Absolutely. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
I also wrote this. I have the life I have built, and you have the life you have built, and
I
it's
like
okay.
that one.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing, I'm gonna change as a person. I put over the next 5 years. My son's attorney said, realistically, he'll probably be incarcerated 5 years. That's where the 5 years came in. I will
Okay.
change as a person. So I'll change this for this discussion. I'll change as a person through this experience. Only I decide what that change looks like. Yeah?
Mm.
And you will change over throughout this experience, and only you decide what that change will look like.
That is so true because I am changing on this journey. It's been 4
Right?
years, and I am not the same person as I was
Mm-mm.
during the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so good. I hope y'all listening. Y'all need to take notes because this is some good stuff. Y'all better get this book. It's this guidebook,
Yeah.
trauma recovery, y'all. Oh my god, everybody needs this. And there
Mhm.
was something else you also said that I love. You have a lot of good nuggets in this. I just want to let you know in this book, a lot of good nuggets. You also put use your mind for processing, not storage.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes we get as mothers, we get caught up on, like, "I wish I could've, would've helped him," and then we just like, we're storing everything that wish we could've, would've, or it's my fault, or this guilt that we play as mothers because our child ended up going to prison. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And to have this whole list in our head of he needs me to do this, I need me to do this, my husband needs this, my other kids need this, like all these, my boss needs this, whatever, clients need that. To have all of these things, because especially as women, like we are
Mhm.
holding everything together.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to use my mind for storage of what everyone needs, including myself. I'll make a list. I'll take care of those things. I've got those things, but I'm going to use my mind for assessing where I'm at, maybe why I need to be responsible for what my son needs or my husband needs, and maybe
Mhm.
not, right? And
Right.
so I clear up that space in my mind to allow for processing of what I'm going through, what my needs are, what their needs are, and all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a couple exercises in here too that I love too.
Oh.
Like also sometimes, in the group I put the 21-day challenge of working out because sometimes we get lost in life like you said where we don't exercise, we become diabetic and we have like high cholesterol. I love how you said like improve your health, run an extra mile or if you've gained some weight, it's time to lose that weight. And then you also like complete a marathon and then you even say like, get a promotion, get a raise. Like I love that too. And then grow your own business. I like that one too. And then how about you help someone else achieve their goal? Like I love how you put all these exercises in here. And then also you put like a 1-year goal, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Like sometimes us mothers don't even think about that. We're only so focused on our child that's incarcerated.
Yeah, yeah. So I can tell what part of the book you're in for that,
Yes.
for those exercises,
Yeah.
because you're on it. Yeah, when we have spent time, like our legs have been knocked out from under us, we're on our knees. It's getting through today, getting through this week. That's all we can think about.
Mhm.
Sometimes, even as we start to improve and get better, and okay, we're getting through this, our mind gets stuck back in that spot, right?
Mhm.
And to push ourselves a little bit and say, okay, I actually can start now thinking of a year down the road, 5 years, 10 years down the road. I can start thinking of training for a marathon, right?
Mhm.
It's sometimes we need that push, and
Mhm.
that push is there. And the assessments in the book will help you to determine if you're ready for that or not, right? But yeah, it's we need to get to that. That's what we want to strive to get to.
How do you know if you're when you're ready or not?
Yeah. So there are assessments in the book. They're mood
Okay.
logs. They're standard mood
Okay.
assessments that I derived from the psychological community, whatever.
Mhm.
And it helps direct you to the different areas of the book where the exercises may be most attuned to kind of where your nervous system is in the moment. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. So you take that test and it says, "Oh, go to section 4, go to section 3," right? Here are the exercises in that section that may help you the most there. Yeah.
That's good. Y'all, when I tell y'all trauma recovery, we have to do this. And y'all, she's coming on the Facebook group and we're gonna do like a Zoom call, and we're actually going to do some few exercises with Jolene, and I'm just so excited to do this because
Me
this
too.
has really helped me too in this short period of time of me getting here with this book. So it's
Yeah.
helped me, and I also love you have a lot of good quotes in here. And I also noticed this one too, like on page 246, you have where you talked about this one. I'm not gonna lie, I stuck with this one for a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Is where people tend to not listen to each other sometimes. Like,
Mm,
sometimes, like, I can be talking to mothers, um, where people now here's the one, where sometimes people will call me and ask me, "How am I doing?" Right? Or they tell me or and I tell them how I'm doing. Or I give them a scenario about my son Nazir, for example. He is in the hole, right? He's back in the hole.
mhm.
So people be like, "Oh, Tiffany, call me and let's talk." And so when I do decide to call someone, I tell them a little bit of what's happening. They literally go back to, "Well, my son was in the hole too," and sometimes that irritates I'm not gonna lie, I'm still y'all help me, Jesus help me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, that irritates the hell out of me because I feel you're not really listening to me. Because
Yeah.
now I end up being your ear.
And I called you for support here.
There you
Yeah.
go. And when I was reading that out in the book, I said, "Oh my God." And I've learned in my therapy session to become a better listener. So as I'm learning to be a better listener, because you gave great examples, because I'm like, okay, my therapist said the same thing to me. So
Mhm.
it's just sometimes with others, they don't do the same as what I'm learning in
Right.
therapy. And
Yeah.
so sometimes I'm learning just to be quiet and not even go back to my therapist and tell her what how I feel because people tend to talk about their issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't mean they're bad people. It
Yeah,
means that
yeah, yeah,
they're just
yeah.
they don't have the, they don't have the experience or the education or the whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is, and it's something that we can take that experience and use that in our own lives, benefit when somebody calls us for support, right?
Mhm.
Somebody calls me and says, "Oh my gosh, my son's in the hole again." I'm not going off on, "Oh, well, guess what? My blah blah blah, this is what's going
Yes.
on with me." Yeah. Well, I think that people do that a lot of times to try and relate, but
Yes.
it doesn't always land. It doesn't work.
It
So
doesn't.
those of you who do that to try and relate, just know it doesn't work. It doesn't, on the receiving end, it doesn't
It
feel
doesn't.
good.
It
No.
doesn't feel good at all. Cause I love
No.
how you said, you gave the 70, was it a 70/30 rule?
Go ahead. Yeah.
The 70%, where you're basically listening for the 70%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Yep.
30% is where you talk, not
Exactly.
the other way around where you talk the 70% and then you know what I'm saying? Like, I love that when you gave that, I was like, "Okay, yeah, because I
Yep.
feel like I've grown so much in my walk, in my therapy session of really listening to people, and I think that's probably why, I love the mothers in the group because I
Mhm,
really do listen, and
mhm.
I don't go back in to talk about I don't compare situations. 'Cause I really wanna know how they're feeling, and I love how you talked about that,
Yeah.
and for mothers who are struggling in that area, this is where you gotta pick up this book.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let's give, maybe, we've talked about what doesn't work
Mhm,
and what you and I have both experienced that doesn't land well with us. So when somebody does call us, or we're in a support group
mhm,
and somebody just shares something super heavy,
mhm.
right? What we're not going to do is say, "Oh yeah, I've been there too, and here's what it was like for me." What we
Period.
are going to do is something like this. Tell me more. What was that like for you? How can I support you? Right? There's 3 questions that will let that person know that you're there for them, that you're listening to them, that they're safe here and you're a safe person to talk to. So,
I
yeah.
love that, I love that. I love that because that means because when you ask me those questions,
Mhm.
in my mind, as a person that's talking about the situation, I'm gonna say, "Jolene's actually listening to me, and she actually is not to say the person wasn't concerned, but you're actually really listening to me, and now I can really talk to you."
Yeah. Yeah, and that speaks on emotional level, right?
Mhm,
When we try to, okay, we've somehow learned in our society that to compare our, to let a person know we've been where they are, that we have experienced what they're experiencing, that's how we're supposed to connect. It doesn't connect. It connects, we think it's connecting on an intellectual level, but on
mhm.
a nervous system level, when somebody asks us to tell them more, when somebody asks us, what was that like for you? How are you doing? Like asking about you as a person, and your experience, it connects on a much deeper level. So we haven't, I don't know, our society's gotten away from true connection in that way.
It has, and that's probably where you say to get rid of those apps sometimes or just
Yes.
well, because 'cause we're so
Yeah.
quick to, honestly, like, my friends always say that I'm just different because I think I am just different. I usually call them and ask them, "How are they doing?" Because people send you text message.
Yeah.
I actually wanna hear your voice because in a text message, I can't really know if you're really going through something. If I hear your voice, then I can be like, "Wait, something's not right."
Yep. Yep. Oh, my favorite text to send or to receive
Uh-huh.
is, "Can I call you? Can I call you? Are you there?" That way I'm not calling out of the blue. My friends are sometimes like, "Are you in a session?" Because I'm freaking always in sessions lately, but "Can I call you?" "Not right now, I'm in a session, but call me in 35 minutes," right? So, yeah, "Can I call you?" "You bet
Yes.
you can."
Yes, yes. Now your sessions how long are your sessions normally last?
Yeah. So, typical my trauma sessions are about
Mhm.
an hour long. That's about how long our nervous system can stand, going that deep most of the
Oh,
time, right?
really? Okay, I'm
That's
learning that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, 50, 55 minutes, something like that. So my
okay,
sessions, I schedule them for about an hour. I do a lot of grief work too, because what I've learned is you can't address trauma without addressing grief. All trauma has grief.
okay.
And so I do have some grief series where the sessions are about 90 minutes long.
Now
And
the
so
grief
we go
sessions,
through.
what does that look like? Do you start off, like, with, like, if someone died, if their child ended up going to prison? Or is that the steps for grief or what's
Yeah, so there's about 40 different things in life that can cause us grief, and you're right,
Mhm,
child going to prison and death are right up there.
mhm.
Moving, changing jobs, any abrupt change in your life, you're gonna be grieving that, the old routines, the old things in life. So, um, divorces, breakups, those kinds of kids leaving home,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That
Oof,
was a yeah. That
oof.
was a rough one.
Even good
Your
changes,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
can
because
bring.
your identity changes as a mom when your child's up going to college, and then what? Then who are you?
Yeah, yeah. So I actually have a text that I work through that's different from the trauma text that I
Okay.
wrote. And we go through this text together about a 2-month period ish and work through um, kind of we identify all losses in life and then
Mhm.
pick one to work on and we work through that loss in a very specific way. um, we can stay in our trauma, we can stay in our grief, we can hope that time will heal, or we can take these small steps, small, correct choices that will actually move us out of trauma, out of grief. And that's what I do. So, people who want to work through that and walk out of it a whole person and,
Right, right,
and
right.
learn who that new person is. Because, yeah, like I wrote in my journal so many years ago, this is going to change you.
Right. But I love how you said this is if you want to work.
It is work.
It's
Yes.
work because we're so quick to be like, "Oh, yes, I'm down to, like," if you wanna, like, let's just say, if you wanna do a marathon, if it's not that, like, just do a marathon. You're like, "Yeah, I'm down," but you're not willing to work to be prepared yourself to start the marathon. And then you sit back on social media, and then you scroll through, and you see Nancy, Lisa all preparing, and then you're like, "Wait a minute," like, and all it takes is just work that one step you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and a lot of times on social media, we see
Mhm.
the end result. We
Yes.
see someone saying, "Oh, I did this marathon," right? To say on the
Yeah.
marathon thing. I just ran this marathon. We don't see on social media the 100 times before where that person was running and eating right and sleeping enough and all the
Yes.
things, right?
Yes.
So that's my work with people is all the things so that they can come up on their podcast that they've now started and are doing it, right? And say,
Yeah.
"Yes, I've done this work."
Yeah, because people don't know behind the scenes of of this
So
podcast. It's been 2 years now,
it's a lot.
and now a YouTube channel, and I've been up to 4 o'clock in the morning. People don't know, like, they don't know the other side of this world. It looks good when I post on social media, but
Mm,
the editing and what I'm learning on YouTube channel, the mentors that I have, like,
yeah,
it takes work, and at the end of the day, I want to do the work.
yeah,
Like going to therapy, your journal, the 90-day guidebook, literally just sitting, just thinking like, okay, so what steps do I need to do? And even it's the little steps. You even say
yeah.
like walk a mile. You're not even saying like do a marathon. You have just take the first step.
Just go, yeah, just step out your door if that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't have it to do laundry today? Fine. You know what? Pick the laundry up off the floor and put it in the basket. Call it a
Yes.
win. Yeah. Yeah.
I love this. Like, I'm so excited to do the Zoom, and so the ladies can just do like a little bit of a
Yeah.
exercise. But look, y'all got to get the book though to have the full recover for the 90 day.
Easy to get. It's on Amazon. It's super easy to get. Yep.
Yes, it's super easy to get. Who doesn't have Amazon? Oh my God. So I also want to touch on like your GPS location.
Yeah.
Where are you now with
Mm,
your GPS?
mhm. Right. So, I'll tell you what, it's been years in the making, this person
Okay.
that's in front of you.
Mhm. Oh, yes, quite naturally,
And
yes.
yeah, yeah, what I've learned is what fuels me. What fuels me is wonderful conversations with go-getters, people like you, right?
Mhm,
What fuels me is helping other people who are coming behind me.
mhm.
That helps me, it fuels me, it, like, makes my day. I know if I'm feeling kinda low because as much work as I've done, there are still those troughs that we get in. Things still happen. We're still living in this world in an election year, right? So things
Yes,
still happen.
yes. Oh
Holy
my
moly, there are still losses in my life. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, but I know what to do, I know where to go, and I know who when I first text them and say, "Can I call you?" I know
Mhm.
who's gonna say yes, and who's gonna ask me, "What was that like for you?" versus, "Oh, yeah, I've been there." Right?
Right.
So, um, I I think on a day-to-day basis, depending on what's going on,
Mhm.
I'm in different places like we all are. It's
Right.
just yeah, I know what works for me. I've done that work. The very back of, my guidebook is an area to put the exercises that work the best for you, those go-tos.
I saw that, yes, in the back of
Yeah,
the book.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, 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 yes. Y'all gotta
Mine's
get that.
filled.
Yes.
Like, I've got that list of the go-tos. I know what works for me, and it's not what works for everyone, right? Things that work
Yes.
for me don't work for everybody's, and that's why there's a big, kind of a diverse list in there, but, yeah, I am at this stage of healing where helping others is motivating, fueling, and I
Yes.
love that. I love that. So
And so in the back of the book I read, it says your family is your priority.
mm,
Um,
mhm.
what does your family say now? Like, what does Jim say now versus, who you were, when he told you at the time to get, you need to seek some help. We need to figure what's going on and where you are today.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you this. Jim and I don't have kids together, right?
Oh, mhm.
We each had kids
Yeah.
already when we met about 12 years ago or so, but we have this marriage that
Mhm.
is separate from us. And we look at our marriage like a tree, and we water this tree and we care for this tree and we prune this tree, and we have cultivated this tree, this marriage that now we can sit under and enjoy the shade. Sometimes this tree still needs work, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And sometimes we're able to sit back and say, "Ah, okay, I'll let the tree take care of me for a minute," right?
Right.
And we've learned, what works for our marriage. Sometimes the best thing for that marriage isn't the best thing for me, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
make the sacrifice for me for the and I'm not even doing it for my husband, I'm doing it for our marriage, right?
Right.
Different things.
Right.
So, he is, Jim helped me write this book. He was there the whole step of the way. He helps me in my new business now. We still have the marketing company.
Mhm.
That's not my drive. It's what we do. It's fun kind of finger painting. Marketing
Right,
is
right,
fun.
right. Uh-huh. Right.
But he helps me in my coaching practice now where I help other people through this, and
Mhm.
he freaking loves it. He's like, "Man, I see you doing what you were created to do." Right? I
Mm.
see you doing what you were meant to do. And he talks about how honored he is to be a part of it. He does some of the marketing work, a good share of the marketing work
Right, right, right.
for
Yes.
this business, right? The copywriting for the website, those kinds of things that are
Uh-huh.
necessary for a business. So
Right.
I can stay in front of my Zoom, in front of, across the desk from people who need help. And so it's beautiful.
But look at that.
Mhm.
Pain in your there's pain in your purpose.
Yes.
He
Yes.
just said you are doing what you were created to do, but it took the pain to create what was in you that God had in you
I
to
don't know that I
manifest.
would have yeah, I don't know that I would be doing this now without that experience, and what a shame. Holy moly, what a shame that would have been. Yeah,
Imagine if you didn't oh my God, this oh God.
yeah.
Imagine if you didn't fulfill your purpose. How many other people that you've already touched, they wouldn't have fulfilled theirs or had a breakthrough to get through their trauma, their recovery. Just think all those people wouldn't have done it
I
without
know.
you walking into what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, a beautiful friend of mine, and I were talking last week, and she said, um, "Ev everything isn't a gift, but there is a gift in everything. Find that gift in everything, because there is." I remember that first night, those 4 voicemails,
Mhm.
4 missed calls. I don't I'll just tell you, I'll be real here. I was
Yeah.
laying on the bathroom floor that
No.
night.
Uh-huh.
It just in the worst possible condition I could have been in, and thinking there is nothing good in this. Nothing. There's nothing good in this. How can anything good come out of this? And here I am, nearly a decade later or so. I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah. I guess something good came out of this." And not just for me, for him too, because
Right, right, right,
he's a better person now,
right. And
right?
you said first he could have had 25 years to life, right?
He could have had a life sentence, like his natural born law, 25, like
Right.
I thought, and they called him a lifer when he first went in. It wound up, I mean, it was an incredibly short sentence compared to
R
that.
right,
He was
that's
in
yeah.
for, yeah, for a short period of time, but, um, we didn't know that when he went
Right,
in,
in the
when he was
beginning, they said
going through that. Whew, yeah, nothing good could have come from that. I was convinced of that, and that's where I was at for a while. Nothing good. There's nothing good.
so
But there
can you
was.
encourage the moms who are dealing with, maybe 25 years to life? What would you
Yeah.
wanna say to them that are listening to this episode?
Yeah. Yeah, I would tell them this, the relationship that you're able to have with your loved one right now, focus on that. The life that you have right now, you can make a beautiful life. It can be a beautiful life. It can be a productive life for you and for him. Remember what I wrote in my journal. You know, I'm just going to read it again because I don't
No,
want
no, no,
to.
read it again.
Here's what
I
I
love
wrote.
this.
I have the life that I've built, and you have the life that you built, right? Live this life. Hold your head high. Know that you're there for him or her, your child who's incarcerated, and they can be there for you no matter where they are. You can have a close relationship. Um, the walls cannot keep your hearts apart.
Mhm,
They can't. Okay. Who you are, who he is, your relationships are difficult, and there are struggles, added issues and dynamics there to deal with when there's that physical separation. But you can have a relationship. You can have a life, and so can he.
and when you say, "I have the light that I built, and then you have the life that you built," when you say "you," you're talking about your child that is incarcerated,
Mhm.
correct? I just wanna
Mhm.
make sure that like,
Yeah.
I need y'all to really hear what she's saying, like, she's saying that, "I have the life that I built," and your daughter or your son has a life that they built
Yeah.
on their actions on what they did.
And they can have meaning and purpose in life while they're incarcerated.
Mhm.
One thing I remembered, another thing that I wrote in here that I don't even have to read, I remember it, is that God loves inmates. Okay.
Mm.
Yes. He loves them. Big portions of the Bible were written from a jail cell.
Yes. Mm.
Yes, they were.
Yes, there's a lot of them in there. Yes.
Okay. So for those who are believers, like, being in a jail cell doesn't end everything. It doesn't. They can have meaning. They can have purpose in there if they choose.
Yes.
If they choose.
I love that. I love how we're gonna end this. Like, this is great. Like, God loves inmates.
It does.
Who was the one that went to the pit to the palace?
Oh
I
my
forgot.
goodness.
Was that That wasn't Peter, Joseph. I don't Joseph. It was
I don't.
Joseph who went to the pit, he went to jail, then he ended up in the palace.
There you go.
Yes, it was
Mhm.
Joseph. There you go. Like, God loves inmates. And Jolene, I just love our conversation. This is good, and this is really good. We could go longer, but y'all, I need y'all to
We'll
get
do it again.
yes, trauma recovery, a 90-day guidebook, building a great life after trauma. And we're going to do a whole segment on our Zoom.
Mhm.
And we're going to do like a little exercise with the girls, with the moms. And I just love this. Now, where can people find you? How can they book a session with you? Because you also do coaching session, correct?
Yeah, yeah, I do one-on-one coaching sessions, I do groups, I do courses sometimes. Best place to find out what I have available right now is my website is, grapevineinnerwellness.com. Grapevineinnerwellness.com. That's where you can find all my contact information. You can, yeah, book a session, all of those things there. I do have a separate site for prison moms,
Okay.
okay,
Put that,
prison
yeah.
families, and that's the FOTA Project, FOTA, Families of the Accused, the FOTAproject.org. Lots of resources for families, people who have a loved one who's incarcerated. Um, but to get in touch with me, grapevineinnerwellness.com is my website. It's the best place to go.
I love this. Thank you, thank you, thank you so
Mm,
much. And I'm so excited. Just getting through the trauma that we've all been through. And like you said, the
mm,
first step is just to do that one simple thing,
mm,
whatever that might be. Like you said, is if it's just to go outside
mhm,
and walk around the
mhm.
block and come back in.
There you go. Yep. Figure out what's going to help you in this moment right now and just do one thing. One thing.
Just one thing. Oh my God, this is a great episode, y'all. So y'all go ahead, please leave a comment, write a review, give this episode 5 stars. This is like great. Let Apple Podcasts and Spotify know that we need more podcasts about mothers with incarcerated children and
Right.
how do we get through these tough times, these challenging times, and how we have testimonial services. How they called her son a lifer,
Mhm.
but he didn't do life. Then we have to can we give a shout out to Jim? I haven't met Jim, but can we just give Jim and give out a shout out to men who are with their women who are not their best,
Yeah.
who will speak life into their wife or their partner to say, "Baby, I got you." And just to hear a little bit about Jim, it seems like Jim had you, Jolene, through the good days, bad days, and even the good, like you said, underneath that tree.
Yep. Yep. There are days we spend under that tree relaxing and enjoying. And
Yeah.
those days increase over time, right? And if you're going through it right now and you're having to prune the tree, there are days in the future that days coming. Just stick with it.
Yes, there's something on the other side.
That's right.
I
That's
love that. I love that. Jolene, I thank you for this episode. I truly appreciate you. You guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode with Locked In with Tiffany Nicole. It's your girl. Mothers, remember, no mother walks alone. As long as I'm here, we're not going to walk alone. Thank you so much, Jolene.
Thank you, Tiffany.